Most people drive right past a forgotten stretch of road without a second glance. Just another patch of overgrown wilderness on the edge of town. A couple old buildings, with many stories. Some true, some not. Small town superstition, and urban legends that refuse to die. Today we're talking about the witch cult. In the outskirts of Trenton, Missouri, there lies the remains of a home. Nothing left but a chimney. All the wood had rotted and withered with time, leaving just this one reminder of once was. There was a story of an angry old woman who lived here. Stories that she'd practice witchcraft and eat children. The strange stories that stem from this one location go all the way from townspeople being possessed by a cult, infecting the upper echelons of Trenton society. And from these emanated other tales of secret witch covens. But how much of it is true and how much is just small town legend blown out of proportion? I actually lived in one of the surrounding towns, and I absolutely love these small town stories. Before we continue with the witch's cult and the witch's house, let's talk about the old bar that was next to it. Okay. So, this old building. I don't think they actually got a name for this one. There's a stairway right over there. If you go in here, you'll find strange bits of assorted trash. Creepy ass mattress. Lots of trash. White people like to come out here and dump their trash, and it's a lot of energy drinks. Random ass tires. The story is that the place caught on fire years ago, and it's just been an empty shell ever since. At one point it also used to be a mechanic shop, another point a bar, and during the roaring 20s it was a speakeasy. Crowder Park, 1.5 miles. I don't know what any of this other trash is, but Crowder Park is that way. Because spelling things incorrectly makes you cool. Country boys. I mean, they should keep some consistency. They should have used the I instead of the Y. Country boys. Love is light. Light is free? Nah, love costs something. Any man worth his salt knows that. The ruins of the old bar, crumbling and fading into nothing but memory. This random coat and that particular trash bag just make me question things. I worry that if I flip up this mattress, I'm going to see something I don't want to see. Random ass chair. Me and an ex actually filmed out here before, so you'll notice that there's two distinct seasons with this video. I'm actually surprised there's no used needles around. You know, for all the times I've came out to this town to party, I've never heard of anyone actually using this spot as a place to get drunk or high. Instead, they do what I'm doing currently. Walking through the old ruins, talking about how creepy it is, trading stories on the matter, and watching these stories gradually get more exaggerated as time goes by. And most of these stories border on the ridiculous, with the kernels of truth that are there falling into obscurity. Now, a story I 100% believe is that while the place was a bar, if you misbehaved, they'd throw you out into the river, right next to where that chimney is. it being summer, the vegetation has overgrown what's left of the witch's hut, just the chimney. And of all the times I've been out here to go to Crowder, I don't think I've ever seen it this covered with vegetation. So let's talk about the secret witch's coven. With the stories of the witch's house also came stories of the secretive witch coven, where the wives of the more wealthy and well-to-do individuals in Trenton society would meet and practice witchcraft. And through these rituals, they would gain more power. Meanwhile, the town rotted around them. Normally at this point in the story, you hear things about murder, child sacrifices, sexual trysts. And, in large part, most of those did not happen. I never heard anything about any animal sacrifices. There was certainly no murders to my awareness. But rumors of sexual degeneracy, those ran rampant. And that was kind of a problem with just the town in general. Except now, there was something to blame it on. The witches' cult. And so that's how it goes with small towns under 10,000 people. Drugs, sex, and rumors were the mainstay. And one final legend before I tell you the truth of the matter here. The final legend is simple. Come at the witching hour, 3 in the morning. Do so on a full moon. Look inside the fireplace. What will you see? You'll see a design carved into the stone. And you'll see faces in the darkness, glowing in the night. If you look too long, they'll stare back. Thus the witch claiming your soul. And now, we reach the conclusion. How much of this story was complete and utter bullshit?
Well, most of it, actually.
Hi, I'm the Black Rider. I'm a motorcycle enthusiast who currently likes to LARP as a pickle wearing a ski mask. Anyways, so my sources on this did not want to be recorded for a number of reasons. However, I'm just going to preface this by saying that the truth is a lot more mundane than the reality of the situation here. Alright, let's start off with what the truth is. The truth was about the cult. Well, let's start off with the cult here. The cult, yes, they were a bunch of feminists. But there are the ooh-rah-rah, you're a queen, you're special, the divine feminine type of feminist, and not the she-ra man-hater feminist, aside from the one who broke away. So let's talk about that for a moment. Yeah, a few of them did exactly use this whole witch cult divine feminine coven bullshit as an excuse to go cheat on their husbands. Because sex is sacred. Why? Because witchcraft. Like, literally, it was like cheating was okay because religion, and that could have been a complete misunderstanding of what any of that was actually supposed to be about. I didn't ask too much about Wicca, this particular brand of it, but you know, some people are just stupid like that. And chances are these women who did cheat on their husbands were probably going to do it anyways. They just needed an excuse. But if the truth is so mundane, why did it explode to such complete and utter insanity whenever the conversations and the legends rolled around? Well, because small town. People want to add a bunch of things to the story to make it seem like it's more exciting. And that seems to be exactly what happened here. People just started adding a bunch of things to it. Like, another thing that happened in Trenton was sometime in like the mid-2010s, some girls decided that they were going to throw a dead cat at the door of the school, and supposedly this turned into this, oh, there's a gigantic satanic cult in the area. Be on the lookout. And the reality was that those two girls were in the closest thing to the cult they had, and no. And I actually wound up meeting one of those supposed satanic girls later on, and apparently I saw the other one at the local grocery store, but, you know, it was completely mundane and over-exaggerated. So let's continue on here. So let's go into the whole, they were in the highest echelons of Trenton society, and they all made disgusting amounts of money. So, according to my source,
no one actually made all that much money. None of them actually made over $100,000 a year, and this event where the whole coven got uncovered and everyone, just started freaking out. It happened during the 90s during the Satanic Panic. And I'm gonna guess that just made things worse, but the reality was that these women, they were practicing Wicca because they were wanting to feel spiritual. And yeah, they were bored women. That's why they picked up Wicca in the first place, because it's small town, boring, nothing happens. I mean, literally the only thing for adults to do is to go to the bar, get drunk, and start drama. As we've seen with many places before. And yeah, you had the two that decided they're going to use this as an excuse to cheat on their husbands, but other than that, it was really pretty freaking innocent. Just women wanting to be spiritual. Now, the one that broke away, that was indeed the crazy. She wanted to turn the cult into a she-ra man-hater, and the way that was described to me that what this woman was, we all have that one person in the group. Maybe it's a video gamer group, maybe it's a D&D group, maybe it's a Magic the Gathering group, and the guy is just, a
menace.
Like, nobody likes this character, you don't even know why you keep this person around, everyone's just like, they're just unbearable to be around. And oftentimes they got a little bit of narcissistic tendencies of some sort, and apparently this chick was that. And when she got kicked out of the group, what winds up happening is she winds up telling the husband, "Oh, your wife has been cheating on you." Why? Because, we like magic witch power bullshit. And the same woman, and here's how I got the information. My source for these stories about the legends, he worked for one of the witches. You don't say. And that's how he found out that it was all just completely blown out of proportion, because she still practiced witchcraft and Wicca and all that other crap. And he 100% believed the stories about the one crazy witch, because it turns out that he dated that particular witch's eldest daughter. And the story with that is that, yeah, she was indeed crazy. She was indeed a she-ra man-hater. Like, there's a day where he goes in and he sees her, she's got all the girls gathered around. It's like, remember, men are supposed to be submissive to women. Men are evil. They were born of the snake, hence the shape of a man's penis. And the same crazy witch woman had this idea that half the demons in the Sacred Key of Solomon, or whatever the hell that Aleister Crowley book is called, were actually women. Like, Paimon was a woman. Barbatos was a woman. And it was just completely antithetical to what was actually true to the theology of demonology and all that. But that's because evil men wrote the thing. So let's talk about the old bar next to the witch's hut. So the story about it being a burlesque bar, I actually couldn't find anything about that. But almost everyone who was in the area knew that that was once a bar up until, I think, the 50s. This part, because I actually filmed a couple weeks back, some things happened and I got a little bit, lost in translation, just a little bit busy. Yeah, it was well known that the place was a bar. People getting thrown off into the river. Okay, I can totally see that because small town. Now let's talk about the witch's hut itself. Now, I've been in this area on multiple occasions, mostly to party. I've been to one of the party spots that's just literally right across the street from that, and yeah, I've seen orbs myself. So yeah, this is an area I'm quite familiar with. It's one of the reasons why I actually got the idea to do this video. And I've never actually gone up there during the witching hour and looked up into the chimney to see if there's faces, because most of the time I've been out there, I was drunk off my ass. But I've talked to some people who said, yeah, I saw the faces. And I looked up in there because apparently there were supposedly designs up in there, and I didn't see anything. But I've seen orbs. That's me personally saying I've personally seen orbs. But anything you hear about the witch is probably bullshit. Because like I said before, small town people add things to make stories a bit more, how you say, exciting. They want to blame this witch's curse. They want to blame this witch's cult on why their cousin Jimmy's on crystal meth and likes to beat his wife. Things like that. And it just sounds cool. in their eyes and exciting, and they like the idea of feeling like they're part of something. But what's the truth? The truth is that nobody alive has actually met this alleged witch. That chimney's been there for frickin' forever, and the so-called witch has been dead for probably over a century by now. The vast majority of the stories that come from the witch's hut and are now slowly started to die off came from a pair of substitute teachers known as the Ashenfelters. They told that story every now and then, because it's entertaining and they knew things, the lore about the area. And in large part, she was already gone before these guys actually learned anything about these so-called lore stories. And they both died of old age. These people were about to die of old age whenever I was in high school. I'm 35 right now. So I want you to think about that for a moment. Things are going to get added to with the stories. She was probably just a crotchety old woman, not a witch or anything of that nature. Going back to the whole story about the crazy witch from the cults. She had a book of shadows that was literally wrote in high school binder paper. Like the high school notebooks that have like the weird black and white spots on them. And the subject matter, that was her book of shadows. You expect that if you're going to go full bore into it, you'd put a little bit more effort to be a witch. The fact of the matter is, the point that I'm trying to make, small towns, a lot of the times these theories, they get completely blown completely out of proportion. If you've ever watched the Y-Files, you know that a lot of these stories that you wind up hearing that, make it through the rounds of the internet get completely blown out of proportion, and they're just hyper-exaggerated bullshit. Like Die Glock. I literally just watched that episode of the Y-Files upon finishing this video. Anyways, that's all for this video. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. And if you wish to help fund the channel, there you go. Half of the proceeds go to my daughter's college fund because she wants to be a law student. It's like, sweetie, of all the professions you wanted the one that was going to just destroy my wallet. Any semblance of money I could have ever had is now gone for the next 10 years because this is what you want. You know what? Challenge accepted.